Hi, good evening. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Starmer, stand down now to save the UK. There is no point in you carrying on. You've lost the party, you've lost the country, and I think you've lost confidence in yourself. You are a miserable you're a miserable failure. Get my teeth in. Starmer, get out now. And I'm going further. You've been calling for it. I'm now agreeing with you. It's time for a general election. Listen to the next half hour and I'll explain why. Starmer is over. Completely and utterly over. The Labour Party know it, the British public know it, and indeed his MPs know it, and they gave him a right roasting, although it wasn't as tough as it should have been, but they laid into him today because basically he had his end of year review. It's something that prime ministers do. And basically, my summary is this for you. Keir Starmer is now prime minister in name only. He can't make any decisions without considering the Muslims and the block vote in the Red Wall. He can't make any decisions without making sure it appeases his left-wingers. The manifesto, that's gone out of the window. He's just clinging on like a shell, like a limpet on Padstow Harbour. Do you like that image? And it's doing the country no good whatsoever. We're obviously now going to go through a period after Sydney where this country is under threat from terrorists, from Islamist extremists. We need a leader in, somebody who has been voted in and is going to do what they said they would do. Quite the opposite of Keir Starmer. So today, it was the end of his year review, and all it did was confirm what millions of voters already know. He's in office, but not in control. It was a miserable experience watching him. He was obviously itching because he wants to get off to help Ukraine again. If he put as much effort and concentration into our country as he does into Zelensky and kissing his ass and Ukraine, then maybe he'd have been a better prime minister. For a bit of fun, you know, like your kids bring home their reports just before they break up for school. If you were going to give, Lily said, if you were going to give one for Keir Starmer, if you were going to give him marks out of 10 for his performance over the last year, how many would you give him? I'd love to know. Just write it up in the comment box. And do you agree with me that he's still the prime minister, but he's not in control? And this is a dreadful situation for the British public and indeed the UK. He's got record low approval ratings. He's got a party, a Labour Party, that is at war with itself. MPs now are openly briefing against Starmer, their own leader. He even tried to make a joke of it today in this liaison committee. He knows completely, and that committee knew as well. I think that's why they held back a bit, although 8 out of 10 of them were Labour supporters anyway. But I think they laid back a bit because they're beginning to pity him. And pity, particularly self-pity, is a very unattractive trait. I don't know whether you agree with me. And so now, just days before Christmas, we've got doctors now deciding, even though they had a whacking great pay rise from Starmer and Labour, they're going on strike. And there's not a thing that West Streeting can do about it. These are greedy bastards. We need a leader who stands up to them and says, you ain't getting any more money. It's an absolute outrage that they're going on strike at Christmas. This will push the NHS further into crisis, whilst us families brace for a bleak, bleak winter. Starmer even admitted today, and if you watch it on the news later, you'll see this, that his leadership is under strain. I would suggest that's the understatement of the year, but it's still an extraordinary confession from a man who sold himself as the safe pair of hands. Safe for who? Because it certainly isn't safe for hospital patients, taxpayers, or the country. This is a prime minister completely out of control. How many points would you give him out of 10? And try and be nice if you can, for his performance. Where's he gone wrong? Did it all start with the Taylor Swift tickets, the free suits off Lord Ali? Ooh, suits you, sir. And then it went downhill from there. This was a prime minister, a leader, Keir Starmer, a government who on their manifesto only had one word on the front cover: change. They were going to be different. They were not going to be like the Tories, which, let's face it, had been a complete disaster for the last few years. The only one who was any good was the lettuce. That's a joke, by the way. So what we're talking about is Starmer. He was a prime minister who promised seriousness and stability, but he's delivered drift, dysfunction, and division. The country is more broken now than it's been for many, many years. And I put that down to him. If you could find a spine, he'd be standing up to the Islamists. But we all know we're waiting for the next terror attack now after Sydney. He's even admitted that today. He's saying, yes, there could be an attack, probably at a Christmas market. The man is useless. Every single policy that he touches seems to fall apart. I'm just calling it as it is. Our borders are still out of control. The small boats are still coming. 40,000 flip-flop warriors have arrived under Starmer's premiership. Not only have they arrived, they've been sexually assaulting, raping, and violently attacking British girls and British women. And what does Starmer say about this? Well, I don't know, because he's too frit to speak to the nation. Just like he disappeared when his nomination for ambassador for America, Mandelson, when all the wheels came off the wagon. I will give Starmer one thing, and I don't know how he's done it. He seems to have an okay relationship with Donald Trump. But that's about the only thing I could think of when I sat there this afternoon, racking my brains. The only thing that you could say in his favour. By the way, I did another podcast earlier all about Sydney. Sounds like a person. All about the dreadful terror attack yesterday. You must listen to it. I did it about 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's already up in all the usual places. But let's carry on here and let's get your views on this. So the small boats are still coming. The so-called one-in, one-out deal with the French, well, that looked pretty good in a press release, but it failed miserably in reality. We've had leadership pledges abandoned. Let's talk about the farmers. Let's talk about tuition fees. Let's talk about the winter fuel allowance for old age pensioners. All abandoned. Principles. He's got no principles, but they've all been reshaped. And as a result of all of this, his authority has evaporated. No one has got a good word for him. You say the word Starmer, the next word, if it's word association, is wanker. No wonder those women in Southport shouted that at him when he turned up with a wreath and then quickly ran away into his armoured Range Rover and left, and then only pausing to call anybody who was protesting against the foul activity, the multiple murders of Rudy Cabana, he called them far-right thugs. People haven't forgotten this, Starmer. They just have not forgotten it. You are toast. You are finished. You can go on as many foreign trips, and he's off to the Ukraine tonight, as you wish. but you've lost the British public. They all reckon he'd bring the Midas touch. Instead, everything he turns to or touches turns to political rust. And that's me being polite, let me tell you. Even his own MPs now know the truth. His leadership is going nowhere. Do you agree with me? This is the John Gaunt podcast. If you do agree, put it in the comments. If you disagree, feel free. And if you're enjoying the show so far, please press the like button. The more people who do that, the more people then watch it because of the algorithm, and it all helps this develop. As you know, we've had over 2 million views now, got nearly 6,500 subscribers, all from a standing start. And I want to thank you, because without you, that would not have happened. Coming to you in a moment. His leadership is going nowhere. So the plotting has begun. The knives are out, although this Labour government, I don't even think they could stab each other in the back. Well, maybe. And the country is paying the price for a man who cannot command his party, his agenda, or the public trust. Today, in this meeting in the Commons, talking to those MPs who were meant to be scrutinising him, the stench of bullshit was everywhere. He was still lying, but he answers questions in such a pedantic, pathetic, lawyer-type way. He's just not a leader. He isn't. And he'll never be a leader whilst I've got a hole in my underpants. Do you agree? What Britain needs at the moment is a prime minister who will lead from the front, who will put Brits first, who doesn't care who he upsets, whether it's the EU, even Donald Trump. He wants to put Brits first. But we haven't got that. We've got a spineless amoeba. We've got a blancmange. We've got a blob as our leader. He is no leader, regardless of the amount of videos he makes puffing himself up. Have you seen the one where he's lighting the candles for Hanukkah? Have you seen that? It's so obviously staged, like everything he does. Because do you know what? He doesn't know what he is. He doesn't know what he stands for. He lives this lie, and bear in mind those words, because this will come true in a few weeks' time. He's living a lie. He's not authentic. He's not a Farage, even a Boris Johnson. Maggie, well, of course he's not Maggie Thatcher, but I'm just talking about being straight. I don't think he could lay in bed straight at night. Do you? We do not need a prime minister clinging on while the system and the country breaks around him. He has accelerated broken Britain. We need clarity, we need consent, and we need accountability. And if Starmer cannot lead, he should do himself a favour and his family and stand down. At least then you could have a smidgen of respect for him. He should just turn around and say, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And look, we can go through all the things. You tell me where you think he's gone wrong, whether it's foreign policy, whether it's pensioners, whether it's the farmers, whether it's the lies, the students, whatever angle, you tell me, and give him marks out of 10. Because if this government cannot govern, then surely, this is where I'm coming to, the people must be given the chance to vote again. And we must be given the chance to have a government that we want. And this isn't me like just being an opposition to him. His ratings are through the floor. If there was a poll tomorrow, even he wouldn't get elected. There would be a wipeout. Now, you might think that wouldn't be necessarily a good thing because that would put Farage in power now, and maybe you think he's not ready. But I say this to you. Farage and Reform, can they be any worse than what we've got at the moment? A blancmange, a blob as Prime Minister, no government, a country heading towards the white cliffs of Dover. We've got doctors going on strike at Christmas. We've got borders still out of control. We've got Labour MPs briefing against their own leader, Starmer. Starmer has got the reverse Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to shit. And we have got to get Starmer out. Are you with me or against me? This is the John Gaunt Show. Let's get talking. Put your comments in the box and I shall come to you ASAP even. How about that? I've already done one show today, so my tongue's a little bit tied, but it was a great show earlier. Make sure you download it or watch it or listen to it after we finish with this one. If you'd like to help me out and donate some money to keep these podcasts going and developing, you know what to do. Click the little dollar sign and donate as little or as much as you can. Thank you for everyone who's been doing that already. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate anything from a $5 upwards. Kev Phillips, he says 0 out of 10 for Keir. Kevin, I told you yesterday, do not allege things that you cannot possibly back up. Do not do it. If you want to do it somewhere else, go and do it, but don't do it on my show, please, because you're talking rubbish. You don't know whether that accusation is true or not, and you could have your ass sued, and I ain't having mine sued because of you. Control yourself. Right, Tommy Mason, -0. I'm not sure you can have -0, but I understand what you mean. What's this? Justin Wilson, -1 million. I think that is. Thank you very much indeed. YouTube, he'd be on a minus if I was to give him my report, says Hugo Agogo. Nice name. 4244 on YouTube. Nobody really supporting him at the moment. A big fat 0 from me, says Pat Burnside on Facebook. Thank you, Pat. Marks out of 10. Keir Starmer, 000, says Pam Millett. Thank you, Pam. What is it, though? What is it? I mean, also, is there anyone brave? I didn't vote for him. I've told you this before. I voted Greens just purely about water because I knew where I was. There was no way anybody but Labour was going to get in. Reform didn't stand a chance, although they did better than I thought they would. So I voted Green. So I'm not responsible. However, if you did vote for him, for Labour, how disappointed are you now? Let's have some honest debate about it. Where did he go wrong? Where did it start? Niven Casey, a regular. Sweet FA. And that's being generous, says Niven, in terms of the marks he would give Starmer. Did you see the performance today, Niven? I'd like to get your views on that as well, please. 21 likes. Thank you very much. Keep hitting it. David Crowther. Yes, and I want him and his cabinet arrested, tried, and jailed. What for? Incompetence. I'm not necessarily sure that's a crime. Thing is, who the F is going to take over? It's terrifying, says Lena Tails 7251 on YouTube. I understand fully what you're saying. And I've had to wrestle with this. And I've had people on here on my show the last few months saying, general election, general. And I've been saying, can't have a general election. Well, we can't. Technically, the only way we could get a general election at the moment, there's two ways, the king, but let's put that to one side. But there's Starmer saying, let's have an election, right? He ain't going to do that, is he? He should. He should now resign to save what little bit of honour he's got, if he has got any. But he won't. But I'm not worried about who's taking over next. It'll probably be Reform. I don't think they're ready for government. But I don't think they can make much more of a fist of it than Starmer and his gang. Maybe it would make Kemi up her act. I don't know. Maybe Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib would get their act together. But we can't carry on like this. You know why they've been warning us about Russia, don't you? To divert us. They know a terrorist attack is coming. What happened in Sydney is going to happen here. In London or Birmingham or Manchester. And like this cretin hasn't even cut the boats. He doesn't even know who's coming in. He hasn't changed the rules. He's unwilling to stand up to the EU, the ECHR. He's unwilling to move them out of 4-star hotels into army camps. And now he is putting them in. In this afternoon, he was bragging, oh, yeah, there were 400 hotels being used when I came to power. Now there's only 200. And I hope by the end of Parliament, there'll be none. Yes, because you're going to put them all in homes of multiple occupation or in army camps, but you're still going to let them come and go as they please. So they'll still be raping our women. You make me sick. You make me vomit. Go, man, go. Starmer scores less than 0, in my opinion. He's been a complete failure, says Chris Bishop 6084 on YouTube. Thank you. Kev Phillips, that's better. He just says broken Britain. Thank you. Now stop being silly. What's this? Leah Natale 7251 on YouTube. 0 ability, 0 personality, and 0 integrity. That's pretty damning, but I think that is correct. I think that's correct. If he had a personality and a bit of charm, I mean, look at what we let Boris get away with. I'm not saying it was right, but that's what a leader can do. Look at Farage. If he was in charge, at least he'd try and tell us straight. We're just now waiting for a terrorist attack, aren't we? That idiot in Australia, Ebenezer. Pass me the lamp, boy. No, that's Ebenezer. In Aladdin, Panto jokes there. But he's useless as well. Albanese, did you see him? He looked like a ghost on the press conference last night, and rightly so, because that moron has allowed 300,000 people to march through Sydney, basically shouting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and all the other crap that they come out with. And now terror has come to their doorstep. You cannot appease these scum. You can't. You can't. It's fit in or ship out in shorthand. Agree with me or not? I'll take your views. I'll give Starmer 10 out of 10 for being the worst PM ever, says Den Spinks. Thank you, Den. Jeffrey, 1977, 1000. He just says 0, and that's on YouTube. Thank you, my friend. And they're the ones we know of, says Polly. What are you on about? Oh, Polly, yeah. I disclosed in my, you must listen to it, the show I did earlier. You can get it on all the usual platforms. I exposed the fact, I did a little check today, 40,000, listen to me, it's not this isn't a mistake, 40,000 people are on the terror watch list in the United Kingdom. 40,000 people living amongst us who in some shape or form would like to murder us, kill us, hate our way of life. How have we allowed that to happen? And you know what? They can't keep track of them. Mind you, they can't keep track of the flip-flop warriors. Once they get told they can't stay, they just get a letter saying you can't stay, and they disappear into the black economy. This is what's going wrong. We're going to hell in a handcart with this Labour government and Starmer. Are you with me or against me? Trump knows Starmer is a prat. Yeah, I think he's playing him. Well, I hope he's playing him. My score for Starmer, says Denise Deacon, 905, is minus 1,000. He's a despicable liar and a traitor to this country. I've never heard people spout such bile for our leader. I'm not having a go at you, Denise. I feel exactly the same. Trump knows exactly what he is, says Hugo Agogo on YouTube. Let's hope so. Well, he said the other day he wants to be president of Europe as well, didn't he? The EU implosion, says Kev Phillips. Thank you. Paul Rowbottom. Getting rid of Starmer ain't enough. We need an election as soon as possible. Starmer scores -1. Yeah, Paul, listen to what I'm saying. Look at the title. Starmer stand down now to save the UK. General election. Yes, now. I agree with you. We now have to have a general election. They lied to get into office. The Conservative Party is nothing like the Conservative Party was during the period when they were trying to get elected. Reform have surged in the polls, but they've only got 5 MPs. They don't even get the chance to ask a proper question in Parliament. How is that democracy? Times are changing, but we need Starmer to go. Starmer would go up in my estimation if he resigned. Of course he would. Dale Bignell, Facebook. Starmer has never been in control. Utterly useless Prime Minister. This country deserves better. It's not going to be a happy Christmas this year because no one can afford it. Dale, that's a brilliant point. Everybody's skint. Excuse me. I said to my daughter, shall we meet up tomorrow? She said, yeah. But I'll meet you in spoons because I'm skint. I've heard that so many times. People say, oh, yeah, we'll do this because I ain't got no money. Or we'll do this. Or you can pop around my house. No one can afford to go out. It's going to be a miserable Christmas. And most of this is down to him. And, that's if we don't get blown apart by some terrorist scum who they've let in. Because they're exploiting the intolerant, are exploiting our tolerance. Well, not our tolerance, our leaders. I said today in that other podcast, Albanese and him, Starmer, they're weak. They're too weak and they're too woke. But they haven't got the democratic mandate. Starmer got elected saying different things. That's why I've got this. Starmer, get out. Get out now. You have failed. I wish the MPs had had the balls to say that to his face today. Denise Deacon, thank you so much indeed. She's just donated for $5, $4.99 on YouTube. How's she done that? Easy. She's pressed the $sign just underneath the screen where my beautiful face is, and she's donated a $5. If you can do that, they take all the different cards that you've got. It would be great if you could. If not, alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate anything from a $5 upwards. If you do that, my friends, you get your name on the roll of honor. There's the roll of honor underneath. All right, let's move on. Denise Deacon, you are a superstar. Thank you so much. Have a lovely Christmas. Where are we going next? I've lost where I am. There's Denise. Richard Pope from Coventry. Good evening, John. Good evening, Rich. 0 out of 10. Nobody's given him more than 0 for me, although 10 out of 10 for takes most things as a joke, as my brother had that written on his school report. I'm not kidding. Yeah, okay, I understand what you mean, Richard. I had some terrible reports when I was at school as well. Do you remember that gut-wrenching feeling as you take the report home and then you got to give it to your dad or your mum? Huh? Terrible. I had one for PE once. Ken Cook, who was the PE teacher, he was a great bloke. He was the rugby coach. I loved rugby. I hated cross-country and all the other crap. He wrote a report and it said basically, I don't know where John's been this year, but it certainly hasn't been in the PE department or the gym or the cross-country course. And he just wrote a whole load of things slagging me off. And then afterwards he said, that'll teach you, Gaunty. I hope your old man gave me a hiding. I said, no, I'm in care. No, I didn't. I'm just pulling your leg. Him and his party are destroying business faster than the road runner's nemesis. Well said. That's a nice image. Thank you, Den Spinks. Kev Phillips, 02 with the Israeli flag, says, Denise is a good soul. Thank you very much. I'm just going to blow my nose. Otherwise, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, thank you very much indeed. Feel free while you're waiting to donate a couple of quid. Keep these things going, please. Den Spink says 10 out of 10 for doing a terrible job, Richard. Definitely. Craig Mawson. John, I totally agree with you about Starmer when he did over the pensioners. Yeah, I mean, that was it, wasn't it? It was Freebie Gate. Then he did the pensioners. And I think from that moment on, he could have started walking on water. We could have won the World Cup and no one would have liked him still. You don't do the pensioners, do you? You don't. It's just not. And for the amount of money it was going to save, it was like, why die on that hill? That's the other thing about him. He's got the political nous, the antennae of a dead dormouse. He hasn't got a clue. And then I love it when he goes, oh, and of course, working people. And I'm a working person because my dad was a toolmaker. Your dad owned the frigging factory, you lying git. Mark Phipps. Get Starmer out. Thank you very much, Mark. Short and sweet, straight to the point. We need Farage to do well because Labour have left a two-term problem to fix. Correct. We need reform to have a plan and be ready for government. Well, I think all of that lot on the right, Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, Farage, could they just stop arguing and put the country first? That's what we need, isn't it? What do you reckon? Pamela Millett says, 100% with you, John. You say it how it is. Well, what I do is I say it how I feel. I don't hold back. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Maybe you'll like the next thing I say. That's how I got on in radio. Just say the first thing that comes into your head. Don't censor yourself, because the worst form of censorship, and you hear all the time now on speech radio or anti-telly, they think ahead of what they're saying so that they think they look okay. They don't. They look like pricks because it's not authentic. Mind you, don't take my career advice. I'm the man who I couldn't get arrested at the moment, let alone get a job. Craig says, well done. Thank you. Thank you. Underlay the carpet sweeper, says Scotch Gravy. I haven't got a clue what that means. Thank you very much indeed. He's a traitor, says Mark Phipps again. Craig Urquhart, regular. He is listening to the people. We cry for him to get out, and he obliges by getting the first flight, but it's to another country and somewhere meaningless. Craig, you're right. You're right. He's constantly on an aeroplane. What is it? Doesn't he see that plays badly as well? I just think the guy's an arse. I think he's just an idiot. I voted Labour due to 14 years of Conservatives. I didn't think they could do worse. How wrong I was. Well, Denise, at least you're being honest. I thought a few more people tonight might admit, yeah, I voted for him. I was wrong. I was conned. I thought that's what would happen. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. We'll see. Pam Millett, I voted Reform and I'll be voting or Reform again. I'm sure Nigel's very happy. Thank you. Musical Man Guitar. Can you imagine Ed Miliband as PM? Well, unfortunately, I can, because he's one of the contenders to take over. Him or Wes Streeton or Angela Rayner. Like, one of the questions they should have asked Starmer this afternoon during this parliamentary thing is, has Angela Rayner paid back the 40 grand yet? That'd have put him on the spot, because you know what the answer is? No, she hasn't. She hasn't. And like, when are you going to do any of these things that you said you were going to do? When are you going to bring peace to the Ukraine with the coalition of the useless, Keir? When are you going to sort out the Israel problem? I thought you were the man, not Donald. You promised us the world. You couldn't deliver a frigging pizza. You are an embarrassment. I doubt things will change under Labour for the better, even if Starmer resigned and another one steps in. No, you're missing the point. I'm saying he should resign and we should have a general election, and they wouldn't get elected. So that would be the end of that problem. You got to think through what I'm trying to say. They're playing up the Putin threat, Gaunty, because a frightened population is easy to control. I.e., look at what happened with COVID. Well, to a certain extent, I agree with you, Musical Man. But they're not going to scare us with Putin. No one thinks Putin is going to invade. We're under more threat from the enemy within. The people he's let in the flip-flops and the designer tracksuits and all the ones who came before, when Rishi was here, and Boris, who we don't know who they are. And that's before we've even got on to the undocumented ones. We are up the creek without a paddle. David KT, if Starmer goes, nothing will change. Keep howling at the moon. Oh, okay, David, I'll be a depressive like you, shall I? I think we've got to change, mate. We've got to create the atmosphere where it changes. Starmer gets a minus 50,000 from me. You'd make a far better, it says fat here, careful, Craig, far better job as Prime Minister than any of his backstabbing colleagues. No, I don't want to be the Prime Minister. Pat Burnside, if there's a terrorist attack in the UK, it could well tip the boiling cauldron over, triggering mass civil unrest. I think I agree with you, Pat. I don't want that, of course. No one wants that. I want our country to live peacefully. I just want us all to get on. I want us to do deportation of anybody who shouldn't be here. But otherwise, let's all just get on. Somebody said to me, they sent me an email saying, or it might have been point on here. John, do you remember after 7/7 and 9/11? I think it was 9/11. He said we could talk about all this without fear, whereas now, all these years later, everyone's scared stiff to actually say anything in case they get accused of racism. I saw a really funny incident today on GB News. They were interviewing an Australian. He was the ex-deputy prime minister of Australia. And he was saying, look, you need leadership that's going to get tough, da-da-da-da-da. And then he said, we've had a similar problem with that. And he used, I'm not going to use it, he used the P word, right? And they had to apologize. GB News. Well, I don't know why they apologized, because it was a guest who said it. And then they apologized much later in the show. That's where we've got to. I don't like that word. You know the word I'm talking about for people from Pakistan. You shouldn't use it. There's no need. But he was an Australian. He was just saying it as it was. He's just seen 16 of his own country slaughtered by somebody with Pakistani heritage. That's where it comes from. I'm sure if you go and speak to some of those girls up north, they might call their rapists that word. But GB News, even GB News are scared of their own shadow. And you know why? Because people are trying to close it down. It's I kind of understand. But it kind of summed up where we are in the world today. All right, let's move on. Seriously, John, how about Rupert Lowe for PM? No chance. He's not got any experience. I know he's been a businessman and he's run Southampton Football Club, but he ain't got the support to even get there, has he? But what he could do in the short term is him and Nigel bury their hatchets. The UK has been castrated by Islamism and Zionism. Brits don't want any of it, says Lee. Well, I tell you what I don't want, Lee. I don't want any of your filth. There's nothing. Why are you having a go at Zionists? Why are you having a go at Israel? Why are you having a go at Jews? You're as bad as that little Nick. What's his name? You know the one I mean. He's on the Today programme. Nobody listens to it. On Radio 4, he said the similar thing. Oh, we must remember the attacks on Muslims. No, we mustn't. We must remember the attack that happened in Sydney. And maybe what happened at the mosque, at the synagogue in Manchester. If Starmer called an election tomorrow, Labour would be finished, and Labour government know that full well. Yes, I know. And that's part of the corruption and the problem we're facing. That means do what we do in our country and abide by our rules. And as for Keir, give him 0. Thank you. Annette Locke, no, I doctored mine on the way home or threw it away. You doctored what? What are you on about? Annette, don't understand. Cost of living in the UK is madness. Why is everything costing so much? The EU is cheaper by far. I agree with you, John. Starmer has got to go. Oh, that was who's that? That was Peter Adams. Thank you, Peter. He's living in Hungary, though. So how do you know what the cost of living is? But thank you for your point. Wait till Starmer goes to the EU referendum. It'll tear this country apart. Yeah, I forgot to say that. Of course, that's his other ambition. He wants us back in the EU by hook or by crook. Well, certainly by crooks. There's lots of them in the EU. I went to the EU. I couldn't believe it. I went as a guest of Nigel Farage. I nearly had a fight. Well, I offered him out. He was the Prime Minister of Finland. Yeah, I did. It's all on the record. Google it and you'll see it. Little twat. Where are we now? How the actual F did a narcissist Marxist become the PM of the UK? He lied. There's your answer, Lee. Thank you for your comments. He doesn't do a referenda. He's now a dictator. Got a lot of sympathy with that. Today, Starmer at question time showed his outright contempt for our farmers. Yeah, I saw that bit. He hates them. He hates them. They're the wrong kind of working person, aren't they? Farmers. I think the attack on farmers has been a disgrace. I've got to say, well done to my mate, Rick Kresman. I was meant to have him on last week, but then I was ill. I'll probably try and get him on the next week. He's the guy who runs the posh hotel around here, but he's very influential in the whole hospitality trade. And him and a few of his mates are the ones who are now banning Starmer from every pub. I was delighted to see my ex-colleague at The Sun, name drop, Jeremy Clarkson's joined it. He won't allow any Labour MPs in his pub. And Rick's the same. Evidently, he's put these stickers up all around his posh hotel. no Labour MPs and a no entry sign. I think it's brilliant. And that Barry Gardner, he's the worst one. Barry Gardner, he's on GB News all the time. He got into a lot of trouble with the Chinese. 500,000 kind of trouble. But he's saying, oh, yeah, pubs aren't doing that badly. And things have changed. If pubs aren't profitable anymore, well, that's life. Life just moves on. He's never worked a day in his life in a real job, clearly. Well, if I'm wrong, I'll apologise. Unlike you, Barry, eh? You make me sick. I don't know how you still get paid by them. Do you say all this shit and take the hate for your 250 knicker? You disgust me. I've got to stop in a minute before I really get into trouble with people. Starmer goes, but who will Labour vote to replace him? I don't give a shit. Because I'm asking for a general election, Peter. Lammy, Angela, Rachel, they were not called on election because they'll all be kicked into touch. I know, but if they had honour, respect, pride, care for our great country, love for our country, they would. They've failed. They can't do it. They are no good. They are useless. Did you know free, clean, 0 point and anti-gravity energies in illegal military and corporate? I can't even be bothered to read that. You lost me after the second word. Evening, John, says Maggie Morley. I've just seen Albanese saying the biggest threat to democracy is, wait for it, ... the far right. Maggie, are you pulling my plonker? This is Maggie Morley on Facebook. She's basically saying that Albanese, it'd be better if it was Ebenezer. Give me the lamp. I love that pantomime. But he's basically now blaming the far right for what happened in Sydney, according to Maggie. Maggie, where did you see that? I'm going to look at that up as soon as the show finishes. Well, when EastEnders is finished. Thank you for your comment, though. That's just typical. You could have predicted that, couldn't you, Mag? Thank you. We've got more chance of paddling a rubber boat to France in a storm, John, than getting an election. You're probably right. I think outside of a national emergency, any administration should be barred from introducing measures not included in their election manifesto. Currently, we have no idea what we're voting for. I agree with you completely. Exactly what we need, business people in charge, says Leon Atul. Thank you very much indeed. Just got another donation. Let's see who this is from. Hammers Gary has just donated a $5 on YouTube. He's clicked the little $sign and put a $5 in the pot. Thank you very much indeed, Hammers Gary. It's really, really appreciated. That's a tenner I've got so far today. I think I deserve a bit more. I've done 2 shows. I've done the best part of 2 hours work in terms of performance and all the preparation. Come on. Khan is trying to stop the vigil into a fact. No, Maggie, now you're just winding me up. There's a vigil tonight, isn't there? In solidarity with the Australian Jews. And what you're telling me, Khan, if there'll be a riot if he does that. There's only so far you can push people. He's an arse. An absolute, he's a midget arse. Hang on. Stephen Wilson's back on talking about... Shut up, Stephen. Go and take your drugs elsewhere. Where are we next? Musical man again. Can anybody tell me why people don't like Jews? I'm 56 years old and never known a British Jew cause any issue at all. I keep saying that to myself. I mean, I've worked with lots of Jewish people. Toby, who used to work with me at 3 Counties, been very upset by all this. And he put a really good post up on Facebook or YouTube. But yeah, I've worked with Jewish people, but it's only come up because they brought it up. I've worked with quite a lot of Muslim people when I was at BBC London. I found them, on the whole, no problem whatsoever. I mean, I think all religion is tosh. But I don't really understand why people hate Jews. I just can't get it. I can't get it. They've always seemed to be perfectly all right with me. But cost of living in the UK, John, I know because I'm planning a visit to the UK and cannot believe the cost of hotels, etc. What the hell is going on over there? Have the lunatics finally taken over? Yes, Peter. But I tell you what, you're in Hungary. You can afford a donation tonight then, can't you? Hey? That's a joke. I'm only joking. Does anyone wonder why all our cities and towns, villages are being filled with these foot soldiers? So when they attack, we'll have no way out if we try to gather in support. I've heard other people express that worry. I'm not sure I fully agree, but thanks for making your point. Reform UK is the biggest party, bigger than the Labour and the Greens combined. Right. Maggie Morley says, no, John, straight up, Khan is trying to ban this vigil tonight by Jewish people in Trafalgar Square. What a slime. If that's true, what a slime ball. Anti-British. Hammers Gary, there he is. He's the one who's donated a £5. Thank you, my friend. EastEnders, double tonight. TV license Gaunty. Is it? I don't know about that. Khan, can I sing Christmas carols? Is that allowed? Simon Hayes says, what you're saying about three idols just so happens it lands on the same day as Epstein files are released. Coincidence or bullshit? I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Try and write that in English and I'll read it out and I'll tell you what my view is. Annette Locke says, Jews cause no problems. I worked for some for many years and they were lovely to me. Thank you very much indeed, Annette. I always take people as I find them, personally. I don't then investigate them first. Are you a Jew? Are you a Gentile? Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Yeah, I think people come in all shapes and sizes, different religions, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I've got a daughter. She's in what you'd call a mixed relationship. You just get on with it, don't you? And try to learn about another culture. I think that's interesting. I read Jim Davidson's piece about how Khan has turned London into a place of despair. Khan is not fit for purpose, but gets the votes from people who were never born here. Well, he's definitely got a large minority vote. Yes, he has. But I don't know if that's the only thing that gets him elected. He's been elected 3 times. You've got to just take a breath when you realise that, don't you? Right, that's it. Me done then. What's the time? I can never find the clock on this bloody thing. 47 minutes you've had of me tonight. And it's getting on for 10 to 7. I've got to watch EastEnders. I've got things to do. I'll put this one up as well. But what I really want you to do, can you please have a look or a listen at my other one that I made today, which is all about Starmer and Ebenezer. And I'm saying that both of them are spineless and that they've caused this problem because they've tolerated the intolerant, along with former prime ministers before them. Maggie says, did you know Paris has cancelled the New Year celebrations for fear of a terrorist attack? How the hell has it come to that? Do you know what, Maggie? That'll happen here. I can't see the London fireworks happening this year. And I have wondered over the last few days, they've been going on about Russia. And then today they went on about Starmer started saying, we could have an attack in this country. They'll cancel Christmas. It'll be like, what's his name? Do you remember that? On Porridge, Fulton Mackay, Officer Mackay, when he cancelled Christmas, and Godburn Fletch were really peed off. I tell you what, how good is that program? Still, to this day, you can watch Porridge and laugh just as much as you did when it was first out. What a fabulous program that was. And of course, Richard Beckinsale, what a brilliant actor he was. And he died so young. Terribly sad. I met his wife. I've told you that story. Right. I am now... Jeffrey, this is an interesting one. Jeffrey Sleet says, I've done a lot of refrigeration work for Jews, and they've been the best payers. Good stuff, Jeffrey. That's a weird name to have if you're in refrigeration, isn't it? Sleet. Surely it should be... No. Anyway, never mind. Right. Okay. I don't understand. Simon Hayes has tried to clarify what he meant. He says, okay, sorry. 3i Atlas apparently coming on the 19th of December, the same day. I don't know what that means. What does the word I-A-T? I give up. I'm too tired. I have to go and have a lie down. Thank you for your contributions tonight. If you want to donate after the show, don't forget you can just click on the YouTube page. Donate as much as you can, or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and get your name on the roll of honor. 29 likes today. That's pretty good. Thank you very much indeed for that. Oh, it's a comet, says Anthony. There's a comet coming. Oh, I understand now. That's coming on the 19th. Right. It's a bit like, who is it who say it's a comic? It's a puppet. Who was that? Some 70s comedian. Anyway, it's gone. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, yes, I will be. I'll be here tomorrow at 6. And we'll talk again. If you want to comment in between, don't forget the way you can help me the most is by going to John Gaunt TV on YouTube. A little pop-up will come up the first time you go and it will say, do you want to subscribe? If you say yes, it doesn't cost any money, but it just means that every time I do a video or an extra show, you can get notified because you've pressed the bell as well. So do that for me. That's the best way to support me. Obviously, if you want to donate, well, you know how to do that as well. I guarantee that this useless, pathetic government will not be cancelling my Christmas, says Maggie. Maggie, you're a woman after my own spirit. Good on you. Right, thanks a lot, everyone. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Until then, please spread the word about the show. John Gaunt Show, John Gaunt TV. You know that, don't you? And we'll talk tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, 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 don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.